Girls, tell me about a time where your quick thinking probably saved your life.
So I had just gotten stationed up in Washington State at a squadron. I didn't know many people, and I was getting hazed at the squadron. A woman scorned, who knew? And I met this guy. He seemed harmless enough, thought he could be a good friend, and he invited me to go 4-bying out in the woods. I was raised in Missouri. I love 4-bying, so I was like, hell yeah, let's go. We went to this ORV park called Reeder Pit. There was a group of us having a good time, going 4-bying in his rock crawler. And it got dark and we started a fire. And he asked me if I wanted to go for a ride with him in the moonlight. Me being the idiot that I am, I was like, yeah, let's do it. We were riding around having a good time and we stopped at a river. And he was like, man, I gotta piss. I was like, all right. So I got out to go look at the river in the moonlight and he went off into the woods to go piss. After a while, he wasn't answering. And I'm looking around and I can't see him anywhere. I started getting that eerie feeling in the pit of my stomach. And I heard a crack of a stick in the woods. I called out his name again. I said, this is not funny. I could hear him chuckle and then go silent again. At that moment, I knew in my gut he wasn't fucking around. And this was going to go very badly if I didn't do something. And that's when my SERE training kicked in. I got out of the way of the headlights of the rock crawler, let my eyes adjust to the moonlight so I could see better. I crouched down, got really quiet. I could hear him moving. I could tell that he couldn't see me anymore and he didn't know where I was. But he still was being really stealthy. So I began to be stealthy as well. At this point, the hair on my neck is standing up. The adrenaline is running through my body. It's all tingly. And then he said, this can go one of two ways. Which that threat told me he was very serious. And then I thought, it's either me or him. So I grabbed a rock and I yelled as loud as I could. I've already been through this. I've already been raped. And I promised myself one thing, that if someone tried to do this to me, I would either kill them or they would have to kill me. I said, I'm ready to die tonight. Are you? And it got real quiet. And then he came out of the woods and said, I was just joking, God.
Girls, tell me about a time where your quick thinking probably saved your life.
So I used to work in restaurants, and I used to be a manager of a restaurant, and this restaurant that I was working at this time was open super late. Like, we closed at like 1 a.m. And it was situated like right next to the highway. So on this day, we'd had a really long day, and normally whatever cook was closing would stay with me until I was finished with my end of day paperwork. But on this night, it was like 3:30 in the morning at this point, and I still had a lot of work left to do. So the cook comes in, he was done with all of his stuff, and he said, hey, how much longer do you have? I was like, dude, go ahead and go. Like, I'm gonna be here for a little while, but I'll be okay. And he was like, are you sure? And I said, yeah, just go. So he did. So about 30 minutes later, I finally finished up with my work, and I go out to the front to start turning off the lights and locking up. And I walk out front, and there's a man standing right there in the lobby. And he looked super disheveled, and he's just standing there looking at me like wide-eyed. And the fear that came over me, part 2 in a second. And normally, I would have been like, oh, sir, I'm so sorry, we're closed. But something about the way he looked and the way he was looking at me told me he was not there because he thought we were open. Like, he was there because he thought I was alone, which I was. And so I kind of turned and I said, hey, John, can you come out here really quick? Yelled it towards, where the kitchen was. And without missing a beat, the guy in the lobby turned and ran out the front door. He took off across the parking lot and, near the gas station across the street, he fucking hightailed it out of there. And I ran over and I locked myself in the building. I called the cops and I asked them to escort me to my car, which thank God the cops in my town were awesome because they did. And that was a lesson learned. Never again did I not leave with somebody else. I didn't care how long it took me to do my paperwork. I made someone stay with me in that building.
Girls, tell me about a time where your quick thinking probably saved your life.
So a couple of years ago, I decided to go to a party with my friends, and it was bring your own drink, so we had to leave the party briefly in order to walk to the liquor store that was on the corner. And as we're walking out of the party, I noticed a group of about 5 or 6 guys following us. And these guys were beyond inebriated. So they start talking to us, asking us where we're going, what we're doing, why we're leaving the party so soon, can they come with us? And so we try to tell them, like, no, we're just getting drinks, we'll be back. But for the life of me, they would not believe anything we said. They insisted on following us despite us trying to get them to go back to the party. Things escalated and one of the guys ended up touching me, and I don't know what it was, but immediately after he touched me, I felt nauseous. I felt awful. At that point, I stopped my friends in their tracks, and all I say is, we need to go back to the party now. So my friend turns around and tells them, you know what, we're gonna go back to the party. Frankly, you guys are making us uncomfortable. We take 3 steps in the opposite direction, and one of the guys punches a dent in the neighbor's garage.
Girls, tell me about a time where your quick thinking probably saved your life.
Okay, so when I was 19, I was coming back from college. It was a kind of a far drive. My gas light was already going off, so I knew I had to go get gas soon. All of a sudden, I get this really bad feeling in my stomach, and I got like that sixth sense where you can just tell someone's glaring at you. And so I turn over and I see a 50-year-old man who was so creepy, just like literally staring at me. He rolled down his window. He's trying to talk to me, and I was like really creeped out, just so like, ugh. And anyways, I sped up, he sped up, I slowed down, he slowed down, and so I was like, this guy is following me, like, and I didn't want to go home because I was like, I don't want him to know where I live. Also, I was running out of gas, so I called my dad. He didn't answer, so I called a guy friend. I was like, you have to meet me at the Target, like, I'm running out of gas, and I'm really scared, and this guy's following me. I go into the Target. The guy literally follows me into the Target through the aisles. He's literally like right behind me. Luckily, my friend was there, and everything's fine.
Girls, tell me about a time where your quick thinking probably saved your life.
Okay, so the story is kind of scary, but like a good lesson that it doesn't matter where you are, if you are a girl, you are always in danger. So I live in Orlando, and a couple years ago, me and some girlfriends went to one of the bars at Disney Springs after a party. It was pretty late. It was like maybe like 10 or 11 p.m. And we were just, like enjoying our night. But we noticed this guy sitting in the bar, and he was just like sitting next to a very full glass of beer for like 2 hours straight. So we were like, red flag, red flag. He's been sitting there next to this beer, not drinking it at all. He also kept like walking past our table, even though we were nowhere near the bathroom or the exit or anything. We definitely thought this was sketch, so we told our waitress. Shout out to Erin, who saved my life that night. Anyway, yeah, they snuck us out the back of the restaurant, and then he chased us into a bathroom, and the police had to come get us at Disney. I'll make a story time if anyone cares. Okay, part 2 of almost getting sex trafficked at Disney World. So me and my friends were at the bar, and we were there for many hours, just drinking, sitting outside in the patio, and we kept noticing over the course of a couple of hours this guy in his like maybe early 30s, really young, dressed super nice, like fancy clothes. And we kept noticing that he would like walk past our table holding his beer and kind of like linger around the table. We found this kind of weird for multiple reasons. The first one was that the bar was super empty, and so like he could have gone literally anywhere, like any seat he wanted, kept walking by our table. Also, it was weird because he was by himself at Disney for hours. I'm not saying you can't go out by yourself, but like kind of weird. But the biggest weird thing was that the beer was full the entire time. The entire time. Okay, part 3 of almost being sex trafficked at Disney World. So there's probably like anywhere between 20 and 40 minutes between these little like pit stops by our table that he would take. And so every time it would happen, we'd be like, that was weird. And then he'd come back again and we'd be like, that was weird. So after he had done it a couple times, he came by our table and actually stood directly behind our table, like right behind one of my friends. He was like less than a foot away, standing there. It was obviously very uncomfortable because, we are a bunch of very young girls by ourselves, and this strange guy is like standing behind us, and our waitress comes by and she looks at us and we look at her and we're all like, I don't know, like, that's weird. That's weird. But like, also we were a little like intimidated to say anything, like, please go away. I wish that I had. Did not at the time though. Lesson learned. Or not, maybe I shouldn't have. Part 4 of almost being sex trafficked at Disney World. Okay, so we got to the bar around 10:30. At this point, it's like 1:30 in the morning, and we were like, okay, time to go. But this guy was still there. He had been there for hours, holding the same beer, and we all agreed that this was bad news. So we called our waitress over, we explained the situation. She was like, yeah, honestly, our bartender's kind of already on top of it. He was getting vibes. So don't worry, we're going to get you out of here. So we check out, and the waitress, Erin, thanks, Erin, she goes, okay, we've got a little bit of a back way out. Our bartender's going to like take a really long time checking this guy out, and we're going to get you guys out the back. So we all like really quickly get up. We're all like walking single file out the back way, and we, out of the corner of our eye, because there's like kind of a side door, we see him leap from the bar, leave his full ass beer sitting on the table. Part 5 of almost being trafficked at Disney World. Okay, so we see him leap out of his chair, leave his full beer, running out the front door. We were like not drunk, but like not sober, and terrified at this point, like hearts racing, really scared. So we just start running. Nearest bathroom, nearest women's bathroom, just literally running. There's 4 of us, so we're all like helping each other. We're all wearing heels and dresses. We're like literally taking off our shoes in the middle of Disney Springs so we can like sprint to the bathroom. And I turn around, and I swear to God, this man is running behind us, like full sprint. I also see that most of the Hangar Bar staff is outside on their phones. We later found out that they were on the phone with like the security and the police and stuff. But yeah, they were watching the whole thing unfold. We get to the bathroom. We are bodies against the door. I still can't believe this happened. Bodies against the door, like verge of tears, heart racing. Hello, I'm in my car, but this is part 6 of almost being trafficked at Disney World. So we're in the bathroom for probably 5 or so minutes before someone from Hangar Bar comes and to like check on us and stuff. Apparently the guy left because the police like were right around the corner and like didn't chase him out, but like got him out. So we talked to the police, and they were like, they assured us that, you know, they were going to figure out who it is. Literally, it's Disney, cameras everywhere. But we were still scared to leave the bathroom. So they had Disney security come and escort us to our cars. And probably one of the scariest nights of my life. I really let my guard down because we were at Disney. And yeah, I will never be doing that again. So anyway, sorry that was long, but also stay safe. And yeah, watch out for those full beers at the bar, ladies. Bad news.
Girls, tell me about a time where your quick thinking probably saved your life.
So me and my cousin Lizette, this happened in Mexico, by the way. It was 3 o'clock in the morning, and Mom started texting me like, hey, you better get home because you know how dangerous Mexico can be at night. But like, you know, the banda was still going on, and it was like 3 o'clock in the morning, you know? Like the plaza was like hella just full of people and la banda, you know what I mean? Anyways, we finally go home. And on our way home, there's a guy in the bike who comes and tells us like, you know, like just stuff. ¿Se quiere venir conmigo? Ay, qué guapas. Obviously, we get scared. And we're like, no, gracias. No, gracias. You know, nicely. And then he would still keep telling us stuff. And then he came closer. I got so scared. Watch what I did. My smart thinking, really fast too. I get on my phone, I pretend to call my dad. And I'm like, Papa, ¿tienes para mí porque este pendejo, you know, stuff like that. The guy literally got scared and left, turned around, and that saved our life. You don't know what could have happened.